Hello, great drumming in unexpected places. You know how sometimes you're watching TV and a commercial comes on, or maybe you're watching a movie, or something. You're somewhere where you're not expecting great drumming to happen, and then out of nowhere it happens. One day I was at the grocery store and I'm just walking around buying my bread, my bananas, and they're playing music over the PA. And it's whatever. It's pop music, it's whatever. On that day it was country music. Now I don't hate country music. In fact, I have a soft spot in my heart for country music because when I was 10, 11 years old, my uncle let me roadie for him and he was in a country band. So I got to know the music very well. So I'm listening, tapping my foot, half listening, I'm shopping, whatever, kind of paying attention. And then out of nowhere, this fill happened. I did a double take. I was like, what is this? Where does this even come from? This is just a random country song and the drummer is going to play this completely sick fill in the end of this solo section. It blew me away. So I had to go home. I had to look it up, check out the song, looked it up. It's from 1991 and it's by Alan Jackson. The song's called Don't Rock the Jukebox. The drummer on the tune is either Eddie Bayers or Bruce Rutherford. I couldn't get a bead on which one recorded this one song, but they both got credit on the album, so it was one or the other. I tend to lean it may have been Eddie Bayers because Bruce Rutherford was the touring drummer, Eddie's a session drummer, but I don't know for sure. Either way, they killed it. Side note, Bruce Rutherford is famous. Well, he's not famous for this, but he's known for, at the American Music Awards, early 90s, the producers told the band they got to play with backing tracks. And so as a protest, he played without sticks in his hand, which to me is just hilarious and such a great way to give a middle finger to the producers. Let's look into this fill a little bit more. First, let's go through the structure of Don't Rock the Jukebox. It's a very classic 12/8 shuffle, triplet feel around the, all the fills are triplets. Everything is kind of this rolling, upbeat, very forward momentum 12/8 shuffle, heavy backbeat. And the song starts with a vocal pickup into the first chorus. Then there's a verse, then another chorus, then a solo section, another verse, and then the last chorus. And in each section, it starts with a vocal pickup into the section. The section ends on the downbeat of the last measure of the section with another vocal pickup leading into the next section. And it does this for the verses and the choruses. Although it doesn't happen before the solo section. In the last chorus, they play through and they push it into the solo section. Now the solo section, you got a steel guitar does 8 bars, and then electric guitar does 7 bars. And at the end of that 7 bars, there's a drum fill to land on the one of the last bar, which picks up another vocal part into the last verse. Now, if you're the drummer, you know that you just played through this killer solo section. You got to land on that downbeat of that last bar, so you got to really punch it. You got to put a button on the end of that section. So let's hear it in context, what they did on the record. I ain't got... Puts a button on it. It's just, he could have played a very simple bop, but that's not very punchy. That's not very, it doesn't add any flavor. It doesn't add to the energy of the solo section. So the drummer on this, either Eddie Bayers or Bruce Rutherford, decided to add something more punchy. They did the triplet fill, but they moved it around the drums in a quarter note triplet accent fill. Da do 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 ga. Now, in order to get around the drums and land on the left hand, you can't just start the fill off your right hand. If you start a fill that's triplets for 4 beats on your right hand, you're going to end up back on your right hand. So if you try to do that, you're going to get crossed up. If you're going to try to go around the drums so that you end up on one, you're going to get tripped up. You're going to be going around with the left hand. So he's smart. He starts it on his left hand. Bow. Super clever. And it's just that awareness of sticking and the music of the song that I got to start this on the left hand to get around the drums to end up with a strong downbeat on the one. So getting into that is tricky, because if you're leading with your right hand on the groove, you got to switch it up. So what he does, he adds a little hiccup on that last beat before the fill. He adds a little right hand on the end of the triplet, which leads into the left, which starts the fill going around the drums. Totally rad. So it was an awesome drum fill, totally unexpected, came out of nowhere. I'm just doing my shopping, and I loved it. And I love when this kind of thing happens. I see commercials where there's a jazz drummer that blows me away, or you're watching some award show and the drummer plays a fill. You're just like, what? Like, who is this guy? Where does this come from? So if you come across anything like this, if you come across great drumming in unexpected places, leave me a comment. I'll look into it and see what I can do with it. And while you're out there, just keep your ears open, keep your mind open, because you never know where you're going to hear some really great drumming in an unexpected place. Thank you. I'll see you next time.